Hello and
Hi.
welcome to another episode of Lawfully Chaotic.
Oh my
Sharon has
goodness.
welcome. Sharon has inspired us with her
Hi.
ears. What'd you say I should get? Tiefling horns?
Yeah,
Yeah,
tiefling
tiefling
horns.
horns for your
I'm currently
headset.
wearing a mask of an elderly person, so I'm good.
Well, I have the teeth. I just need the horns. I don't know how tiefling horns would look on a bald head though. It's be kind of weird.
I might get the Mercheray druid horns. I think those would be kind
Oh
of
yeah,
cool
I
too.
like those too.
Not if
Yeah.
I get them first.
Alright.
I would still want that.
Now it's gonna be. I'm going on Amazon right now.
I'm out of here. I'm out of
To
here.
Amazon.
Oh, hey, Jeff Henderson. Welcome. Nice. You have ears. I haven't seen the ears. You've never used the ears when we've played. Please bring the ears.
Bring your ears to the table, everyone.
Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you for joining us, Jeff. We are going to talk tonight about cartography. That's maps. Sharon has done a fantastic job of pulling together some background info on maps and mapping. Sharon, you want to jump in on kick us off with what you discovered with like theater of the mind and all that stuff.
Hello, everyone. I am
I'm gonna
Sharon.
be I'm gonna be
aka
playing with my teeth all night until they fall
You got a
out.
little something in your teeth.
I got let me show you my teeth.
So, guys, thank you for joining us today. We will be talking about cartography, aka maps, and what and how and why it's important to have it in D&D. So, first off, Theater of the Mind can offer a wide range of versatility for players to, wander around to their heart's content in the world of D&D, whether it be venturing into a random shop or down a sketchy alley. There are going to be details, however, that a DM doesn't have visual aid for. So this is where maps come in. When maps are involved, the game's mechanics rely heavily on details such as line of sight, distance, terrain, elevation. This is a very important piece that allows a place for both players and DM to effectively play out whatever scenario that's before them, without having to use telepathy, that common thing. So having a balance of these two can prevent DMs from making volumes of maps for every encounter imaginable, which I don't know if you guys have done that yet. Do you guys? Oh. You guys have just like a library?
No, because usually I create maps pretty much on the fly, not meaning shortly before the sessions that I need them. So my archive of maps is just a folder full of printed pages.
Wow.
But I don't have an actual library of maps to use, but that's not a half bad idea actually, because I do still love the idea of printed maps, especially world maps and traveling maps. And it's interesting that you started with Theater of the Mind, because I find in one thing that I find watching Critical Role is that Matt Mercer is obviously a master of Theater of the Mind and describing a scene right up to the point of an encounter. I find myself, and I don't know, it's kind of just for my own sanity, I find myself that when we're nearing an encounter, I kind of have to have the maps there, battle maps on the table, to kind of help with that visualization. And I find that is sometimes can be it can sometimes slow down gameplay.
Right.
Obviously we need a map. Yeah, well, and not only that, but it's like, okay, they're entering, my party is entering the docks in Waterdeep, so I need 3 square blocks of this setting, even though I think the encounter is going to be right here, but I have no idea where they're going to go. I feel like I need to move away from that a little bit and rely more on an area map that is maybe just printed out, you know, like a smaller version of a world map.
Right.
And just let the battle map be the actual battle map.
Right.
So I don't know what your guys' opinion is on that, or how you run in that regard, Jason.
Yeah, Jason, what are your thoughts on battle maps and even just maps in general? Because today we are going to be talking about both topics as they're very important to D&D.
Yeah, I think to the point of the traveling map, I think as well, I'll start off by prefacing it from the idea of the table. If it feels like your table is going to be a short campaign, I think more of the maps the merrier to a certain degree. Because the short campaign, the immersion is going to be a lot quicker. I think there's not traditional railroading, but I think the theme and the arc are center, like they're present, which means you have more narrative PCs that can offer things to the players and kind of a more clear and concise representation. So like, hey, we found this map on the dead body that we recovered, or hey, we found this map in the message container that was unlocked, or, you know, you have access to our local map shop. So here's the map to the city. Especially with newer players, it might be more helpful so that they can kind of learn the art and craft. But I think for the very long-term campaigns, I think they should have to find what they need.
Let me ask you this. When you say maps, are you talking about like actual maps that a player would find or buy? Like, hey, here's your map of Waterdeep.
Like a world map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what I would call a campaign representative.
A regional map.
Or
okay, so not the table
not the
map.
Stuff not what I'm using.
Like a battle map.
Yeah, not what I'm using.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
And there's what the players could get, and there's what I'm using.
Okay, and I agree with you know what the players can get. I like them. I don't just hand out those maps. You know, it either has to be something that is common knowledge that they would have, or that they have to go buy or find. I love props, so I love handing out maps, and it's not something that I think I've done enough of. Especially,
so cool.
Obviously, you can't really do that, you know, remote. I mean, you could post the picture,
download it.
But I like giving somebody a folded up, you know, aged paper map.
It is kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it when Matt does it. Like, everyone gets so excited when they pull up the map on the table. It's like, oh.
I mean, everybody loves maps. How could you not? You know?
Yeah, it's an in-character map, and like you could actually touch it. You know.
But I think no, go ahead.
So
see, I told you.
We will be talking about both battle maps and regional maps. So whether it's online or in person, we're going to talk about quite a few map making softwares and companies that you can actually gain access to for your next campaign.
Awesome. All right, let's. I pulled up some links here.
Oh my God, I am so mad at Discord right now.
What?
Why?
They have imposed a rule that I cannot undo. They are blocking my admin. I'm trying to publish that we're live, and they're blocking me even though I'm an admin on my site.
Did you do something to piss yourself off and ban yourself?
I don't know.
What did you do?
Were you drunk one night?
I'm trying to turn off what they've done. I don't like it when people do this. I was just trying to put in the We Are Live link really quick, like I do all the time. And it won't let me. I'm hoping this will work because I've turned it off. I don't like these kind of restrictions.
But Jason, we are always live.
So
think about it.
All right, I've turned off their restrictions, and they still won't let me post.
Oh, wow.
What in God's name?
Have you tried turning it on and turning it off?
Well, that would be difficult.
Did you unplug it and plug it back in?
I love both of you and hate you at the same time.
Did you? Did you reboot your modem, sir? Let's start out. I want you to power cycle your modem. That's step one.
How do I get rid of this stupid Clyde bot?
Do you also,
I now have a bot that I didn't have before. I can't even post in my own Discord server.
Sir, have you paid for support? Because this technically your support.
Oh my god, I love physical flip maps. They're so much fun.
Okay,
I have the what's the dungeon, the D&D ones.
Pathfinder?
No.
That's what we're looking at, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at Pathfinder, but I have the dungeon ones, like the Dungeons and Dragons version of this. Of Dungeons of Descent or something like that.
So I use a lot of these flip maps. I think they're awesome. I've used them so much that they're kind of peeling and falling apart, but they're cheap enough that I really kind of don't care. But what I love about these, so obviously we're talking about physical maps now, and this is pertaining more to battle maps. So this is an option. I don't know if you guys have used these interlocking dungeon tiles.
I've never seen that before. That's so cool.
Yeah. So these are very cool because they're double-sided. They link together. So you're not restricted by, I'm in a 36 by 36 inch square. You can kind of tile these together as needed, and they're all dry erase. And there's sand, there's stone, there's this. This is a really awesome option. I actually probably use these more than anything.
That's so cool.
What else did you find here? This is really cool.
I thought this was really awesome. So chat, for those of you guys don't know, we're actually looking at Hearst Art Molds. This is basically a DIY Dwarven Forge where you can make orders for villages, buildings, and you can just snap them together at your home and paint them and make them yourself, which I think is so cool.
This is I am assuming you can use either resin or plaster or something. So this falls obviously more into the terrain realm, but I mean, $30 for a mold for unlimited terrain, that's pretty awesome. I may have to check some of these out.
Yeah, because Dwarven Forge is a really awesome company, and they make really high quality battle maps. But this is such a great and fun alternative for that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, look at
so
that.
the one thing, okay, so let's since you brought it up, let's hop over to Dwarven Forge. I know we've talked about Dwarven Forge a lot. I've got a pretty good collection now. I know, right? Oh my god, is this new? Holy shit!
Uh-oh.
Wildlands new. Great. There's another $1,000 coming down the pike.
Well, that brings up a really challenging point about terrain and maps.
Cost?
Is the value of the cost equitable to its use within the content of the game?
Right.
Does it make sense to buy a $500 map of scenery that's going to be for a single combat session?
Well,
right.
Okay,
I mean, where does that balance come into play? And the idea of, okay, theater of the mind is the most inexpensive way to play the game.
Right.
Right. Digital map making and digital map sharing is maybe the second most inexpensive. And then obviously there's tabletop scenery, depending on how you want to play the game. Now, I know I'm playing a little devil's advocate here a little bit, in the sense that if you have a giant table filled with a terrain that is the center focus of your game, and the actual terrain is the game, then you don't need theater of the mind. And I think that erodes one of the most important aspects of the game that needs to be learned first.
Right.
So that as you get good at the game, then you can become more expansive and more creative. There's a lot of times in the social media space, someone will post a picture like the gentleman DM. He'll have that. And I know a lot of his stuff is for, Instagram purposes, but I would suck at running a game that way, where the entire table's the map. Because I wouldn't have enough content written to absorb the map. We would be in a little tiny room on this big, audacious map playing for 3 sessions. Why do I need the big?
That's kind of goes back to my point about, is your battle map truly an encounter, or is it a whole area that may be multiple encounters or multiple rooms or something like that? And that's where I feel like I need to condense a little bit and kind of split the difference and rely a little more on theater of the mind. However, the more I DM, the more I am relying on terrain. And I know, you know, I've talked about this before with Dwarven Forge, but I've got a pretty good investment in Dwarven Forge now, and
I don't blame you.
It is mega expensive, especially for the amount of games that I run. However, the players absolutely love it. I love it. It immerses me into it. And this is just me, I don't see it, and not just Dwarven Forge, but any 3D terrain, I don't see it as taking away from the theater of the mind aspect. I think it just gives more opportunity to describe what's going on and describe what they're seeing. But it makes for such a beautiful map on the table. The thing about Dwarven Forge that I have discovered that makes it approach worthwhile given the cost is their magnet system. I mean, I ran into this. So I've got Warlock tiles too. Let's click over to that. And these things, Jason, you and I have talked about this. I think Warlock tiles actually fall right in the sweet spot of cost
yes,
value
I would agree with
for
that.
what you get.
Yeah.
However, it is virtually impossible to reconfigure a room or build a room on the fly because of those clips. It just takes way too long.
Oh, so
you have to have, if you can have what you need built beforehand, they are awesome, and I love them. What I found about Dwarven Forge, with Dwarven Forge with the magnets, you can, I did it last week. I completely rearranged and built a new room. I had a bunch of rooms built up on their magnetic tiles, and you could literally drop a room on or take off or add. And there was another, you know, the party went one direction that I did not have pre-built, and I was able to build that in like 45 seconds.
Yeah, I've got
That's
the city.
awesome.
I've got the city streets. The only thing I never liked about this particular design is the clips are poorly designed, so I don't use them.
It does look a little wobbly.
Well, it's
they're
not about
wobbly, and it takes. I think they are actually, and it takes a long time to use them to put
right.
them
So what I did is I at a local art store bought like these trays, and I build inside the trays so they're more stable, and I just don't use the clips. I just don't use the clips.
Interesting.
Interesting. Because honestly, at one point my fingertips were bleeding from putting in and removing those stupid clips. Now,
no way.
So, it's
same. It's annoying.
You're not supposed
as hell.
to bleed, guys.
If you haven't used them, I can back that sentiment up. I love when they're built and on the table, but I hate the prep work and putting them away. It just it doesn't hold a candle to them.
Sorry, going ahead. I'm just gonna say it.
No, I was just gonna say the magnets, whether it's Dwarven Forge or anybody else, the magnets for terrain are just freaking fantastic.
Yeah, they just snap into place. And I was about to say, like, if you guys are really bleeding for your games, you know, like, you're really putting that real dungeon effect on it, the real blood spatter, you know?
Right. Now, I was not aware of this. Sharon, you found this, and I'm definitely ordering some of this. So it's basically flat cardboard with little plastic clips that is freaking dirt cheap.
Yeah, this is 3D dungeons, guys, and this is cardboard, and it's high quality imagery. It's so good. Like,
this was the ones you were talking about.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And
cool?
look,
I mean,
and look at the
these
prices.
Even
The
a
prices
table.
are pretty awesome. Well, back in the day, we used to print it out on paper, and then you'd cut it out and then glue them together. So there used to be paper versions of this we used to use as well.
Yeah,
so
but with the small clips and good quality cardboard, I mean, this is unbelievable. I can't believe that I haven't seen this before.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I mean, well, hold on. My tooth fell out. I gotta fix the tooth. Okay, hey, we're back. Yeah, something like this. This is awesome because when it really comes down to it, as awesome, and I sound like I keep contradicting myself with 3D terrain and Dwarven Forge and whatnot, and I love it. I don't regret investing what I have in it, but
Right.
I find also that sometimes you just hack something together, and as long as it looks decent, like I think this looks fantastic, but it doesn't have to be molded 3D with the brick texture in there and stuff like that. I haven't used them yet. I came in late in the game, but I have ordered I have Kickstarter coming for skinny minis. And I'm really looking forward to using those because again, the artwork is super fantastic.
So good.
And I can already kind of see it doesn't really matter that they're two-dimensional, because when you need like 12 orcs, you just put them down and no, it's not regret.
Yeah, you know what? From that point, like that's theater of the mind. Let theater of the mind lead on. And then like the thing is too, like the advantage of having like maps like these that are so highly detailed is just so that way everybody can have that shared imagery together. You don't have to fill in the cracks for these situations. And we lost Brian.
Hey.
Oh, he's back.
He got banished to the void.
I was in the wrong window and I hit back.
So you used cardboard back in the day no, you used glue and paper.
Well, yeah, because back when PCs were finally kind of getting their stride, people were learning how to print out like just a simple village house, and it was a paint. It was glue A to B, kind of folding glue stuff. So
I'm losing my mind here. Oh, that's so cool. I love how creative people can
denial isn't just okay. That's funny because I just happened to pull up the Pharaoh's Descent, but
that was great.
How do you Venu Gaguyan Venu the second used construction paper had to make glue out of hooves themselves. Sorry. Back in the old days.
The olden days.
It's interesting that I am finding that there is no one answer that I use in terms of terrain maps, battle maps. I use a whole bunch of stuff, and more using a whole bunch of stuff. What else did we have?
Yeah, so these are for the in-person games that are like super helpful. I'm not sure if these types of cardboard games can translate well to streamed games.
I think they can.
Yeah.
Because it took me about a year to get my camera situation figured out. Because I don't have a permanent studio. All right, I'm setting up and breaking down in my living room every time I run a game.
Right.
So I had to, I got to get rid of these things.
I was wondering when they were going to come out. He went 25 minutes. 25
minutes. I had to
minutes.
start with a tripod, and then after the tripod, I'll figure out how to if I get my horns, I'll work on my my teeth for my tiefling. Ha ha ha.
You know what, Vince?
We gotta be all ears.
Oh, that is Vince. Okay, I thought that was Vince.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They use construction paper how to make glue out of hooves themselves. Yeah. Thank you for the old man jokes. That's very nice of you.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about us or the ancient Egyptians?
I know, right?
Oh, all right. I thought he was talking about the ancient Egyptians. I didn't know.
No, he's talking about us.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Vince. No, I actually, anyway, I don't need to go into that whole thing. Suffice it to say, I've got my camera set up working really well. So I can put the camera anywhere on the table, any angle I need. And I found that using the 3D terrain actually does help the players in a remote aspect, because it adds some depth perception to where they are. So it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually benefited them from just having flat maps.
So would you guys prefer using maps like these, or do you prefer more software-based maps? Do you think one is better than the other?
I don't have an opinion as to one is better than the other. I prefer this. I haven't really delved into software maps yet.
Mm-hmm.
We played a little bit of Roll20, which the idea of Roll20 is fantastic, but it's just buggy as shit. So we gave up on it. But other than that, I have not delved into the digital maps.
Yeah, Tailspire's pretty much my mainstay for online mapping and
that's right.
Online battle mapping for the most part. But yeah, Owlbear Rodeo is a pretty simple one. I like that one too. It's browser based. So Owlbear Rodeo, it's actually a pretty decent one. But I use Tailspire mostly because it's a very quick battle map solution with really solid 3D like figures. And then but see, once again though, here's another problem I have with these other solutions. I don't want to start a game. I don't want to build a game. I just want to build a map to use.
Yeah.
And a lot of the online solutions force you to recreate everything first. Oh. Yeah, I'm so mad at Discord right now. I'm like through the roof right now. I don't know. They've put these permanent permissions in place I can't get rid of as an admin. I can't even publish in my own chats.
Dungeon.
And I'm the admin. So typical.
Sharon, you found this Pro Fantasy software.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
What's the cost on this?
Is that the expensive one?
Yeah, that's
it is apparently. Let's see how expensive it is.
Yeah, well, let me put pictures in.
Oh, wait a minute! It's $45. Why did you say it was $1,000?
No. You gotta. Let's see now. I gotta go.
But it won't let me at everyone.
Let me see.
So.
Campaign cartographer.
So if you put at everyone in that picture, it should block you.
It's gonna block me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
If you do it at everyone. That's the problem I'm having.
But it doesn't like block me.
No, because it shows like a list.
Bad block.
Oh, okay. So what you're paying for is the library then.
Right. And I've noticed that when I do like Incarnate, or not Incarnate, Wonder Draft and Dungeon Draft, they actually want you to pay extra for the library. So you get this cool tool, but then you're like, okay, where do I go and get the library from?
Yeah, then that's what this is. So there you go, Sharon. It is your $1,000 price tag. However,
yeah, it's under. It's for the. So there's a feature that says the whole shebang, the complete collection.
Okay.
Regular price is $1,308.20. But hey, guys, it's on sale, so you can buy it for $620.
Oy. Yeah, you got to be pretty invested. Although, like I said, I mean, I've got more than that in Dwarven Forge, so to each his own. I just don't. I mean, for what it is, though. I mean, truthfully, for a professional level mapping creation software with that large of a library, it's not a bad price.
It's very dense.
You've got to be pretty committed to it. But I will say, this stuff I think works really well for. This stuff works really well for Jason. Figure it out later, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. It's just. When you're an admin of a server that you pay money for, and then they break it on, like I've got people that aren't admins that are able to do what I can't do. That's why it's annoying.
I know, and you want to deal with it now. I get it.
Yeah,
I totally.
No, I know. Sorry.
So,
but
and this is actually created by Mike Schley, which is actually one of the top like D&D module makers, official. Dungeons and Dragons map maker, so that probably explains the price tag, but as you said, like it has a lot of content in it,
and this is fully 3D perspective, which is awesome. So I could totally see I could see now I can see the value in this,
Yeah.
given the huge library. Because again, I mean, being a graphic designer, I could create all this shit in Adobe Illustrator, but it would take me ages because I would have to recreate this entire library.
But this is still a physical game. In other words, you still have to.
Yes.
You know, the physical game is still a requirement. I don't know how close we are to being at the regular physical game aspect.
I agree. And that's why I was going to say, I think a tool like this for me is more apropos for those world maps and traveling maps and regional maps and city maps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know. Like, Jason, how would you use this for battle maps?
I don't think I would. Because once again, the challenge I have is, you know, even though I'm running like 11 games in a single week, I need to have the kind of quick ability to build something that's adaptive to multiple games, you know, and sometimes the battle cam works better where I use my 4D Warlock stuff as a representation, but I only ever build tabletop or online battle maps if it's relevant to the situation required. Otherwise, I'm building world maps or regional maps that they're free to try to buy or earn within the context of the actual game itself. I'm not going to have a level 3 group suddenly have all the detail of the world directly in front of them, because that's not what actually happens from the perspective of the immersion of roleplay.
Right. See, this is the value in this tool right here, is these massive libraries to be able to throw maps together. Yeah. I may check this out for world maps, and if they have, it seems like the content is split up so that you can buy certain packs. So I may look into that. Then there is go ahead.
Oh no, so this is like the top tier that you can pay for online battle maps or just map software in general.
Right.
We do have a few other ones. They're actually, most of them are actually free, so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of options. Now this, I think, is the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah. Now this one is Tanner Yarrow. This is Tanner Yarrow. You can find him through his Patreon link. And what he does is he does Patreon releases of certain kinds of battle maps. They could either be static, they could be movie generated. You could, you know,
so this
the
is
whole
flat
idea,
display screen.
Yeah, just a flat TV that you lay on your tabletop, and you have access to all these maps that you would just project out onto it. It really is, I think, the single most affordable way to avoid 3D terrain. I really do. For like $10 a month, you get access to the Patreon packs. I have close to 1,000 of these on my library file when I was using them before. And he even came out with a dynamic map editor where you can build your own dynamic maps as well. So it's a good Patreon. It's one of the few Patreons I find very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of, I mean, if I had a studio set up and a table set up, to have a digital table, I mean, that's to me, that's the ultimate, because like you said, as cool as 3D terrain is, this is awesome enough to replace that at once you're in the entry cost, once you're past the entry cost, it doesn't really cost a lot at all. And the 3D stuff you're constantly buying.
Man, and they play with the depth
is
of
freaking
field.
awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that would be my goal, is having a 65-inch tabletop display.
Dude.
And he did I think he did a Kickstarter for what he called his map book, where you could carry this 50-page map book around with you and open it up, and it's immediately usable as a map.
I know who you're talking about. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. The reason I kind of passed on that is because do it. Sure, Vince, you can be my first player. It's $1,000 a seat. even though you can get a 70-inch TV now for like $300. The reason I passed that map book up is because I didn't think, I don't know, I feel too constrained on a page size map. I've got to have space. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Can it be like touch generated? Oh, it would be so cool if you move your mini on the map and like the light flickers, like a torch flickers or something.
Oh
or
my
like
God, that would be
you
awesome.
move your character
Well,
and like stuff starts to crumble.
For that, you would need a compatible display, a touch display, and that's more than just a TV. But still, I mean, it's totally
Imagine how
doable.
cool.
That would be fucking awesome.
Or like, what if like one of your characters casts Fireball and like it actually casts Fireball?
By the way,
Well, I think
everything
doesn't,
stated here is copyrighted because we are now going to start this company.
What's that? There's another one that there's a couple of the online ones that do the fog of war in the reveal of their maps where
Well,
the maps all
Roll20 did
fog.
that.
Yeah, but there's a couple I think that do it a little bit better. Like there's one called Arc Forge or Forge Arc or something like that. Forge World maybe, or I don't know. My son used it before, and he's sampled with me on it a couple times. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I'm probably saying it wrong. I can't remember the name of it. I know my son used it before. But I think once again, I'm troubled sometimes that I think the map is replacing the work that we need to do to play the game.
Like Theater of the Mind?
Well, not that, and does that mean the players are expecting? Is that Arkenforge? Yeah. Does that mean that every player should expect a map during every session? Is a map always supposed to be available now? There's a lot of people that play Roll20 that say that there should always be a map because I don't know what I'm doing. And if I have a map, then I know what I'm doing.
Okay, well, again, it comes back to see this. I've seen this too, where you do it has day and night versions and whatnot. That's
Correct.
Awesome. Again, I really think it comes down to DM style. I mean, if you are a creative and descriptive enough DM, then you supplement all this with Theater of the Mind and you kind of balance back out. I think that the trick as a DM running a game is to just make it as seamless as possible for the players. If you're constantly saying, hang on a second, I got to recreate this 3D room, or hold on, I got to load this map or whatever.
The continuity
I don't care.
an issue. Yeah.
Absolutely. So personally, I use I try to, I should say, I use all this as a supplement, but for me, the most important thing is maintaining that continuity. Right. So I guess it comes down to what kind of a DM are you. Now, Malcolm, Gentleman Game Master, is just phenomenal at, like you said, you wouldn't be able to run a game like he does.
Right.
He has got his shtick down, and he is just a master at it. And for his players, it translates well because it's just so beautiful looking at what he has created map wise.
And honestly, I don't think I want to take that amount of time to do setup. Like I'll usually
that's fair too. I don't have that kind of time to set up.
I'll usually have 3 or 4 pre-built maps of various sizes ready to go based on how I've been able to predict what I think is going to happen during that day. There's been times in Grain Lands, and I'll put down a battle map and they're like, oh shit, how did you know this was going to happen? I didn't know, but I built 3 maps just in case it did.
And that's the way I do too, yeah.
But I'm going to repurpose those maps. And now in Tailspire, I have over 1,000 maps built. So I built game board maps. So if they're in a sewer, or if they're in a ravine, or if they're in a valley, or if they're in a farm, if they're in a small city or a small village, I have plenty of very easy, ready to go online repurposes that I can use to do that. And I try to do the same thing with my 3D stuff, but I just don't have the acumen or the patience to like build a giant 8-foot by 4-foot map for you to wander through for the next 8 hours. Mostly because I'm not willing to give up that much control, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I get that, and I agree. Like, I don't have the space, even if I had the time and all the pieces. I don't have the space for that. So I try to do an encounter and the immediate area. But again, like I said, sometimes it becomes like this giant map, and they use this much of it. It's funny because in the earlier episodes of this show, when we were talking about 3D terrain, and I was kind of bagging on it, especially Dwarf Forge. I still maintain that a dry erase map is the quickest and easiest way to keep
bottle
the game
caps
flowing.
with really cool pictures on them, or just Sharpie names on them, a dry erase map, and boom, you're good to go. Until you drink too much beer and you forgot to clean off your mat and you store it for a couple weeks, and then the dry erase ain't dry erase anymore.
Windex.
No, I have proven that's an urban myth.
You need to stop using permanent markers.
Maps.
No, I assure you. Although, there's...
So that's why you're going 3D online.
Well, I go 3D online because we're online.
Because he keeps using permanent fucking Sharpies. Why the hell didn't this come off? God damn it.
Well, I mean, I could actually give you an example really quick of one of the things that I showed today. This is actually in my Pike's Promise game.
And here is the moral of the story.
So
you get nothing unless you... Oh, wow.
So that's one of my preset. That's what I call my market map. Whenever there's
beautiful, it's awesome.
Whenever there's a market scene or whatever, and we want to play that out, it's an actual battle map that I use. So yeah, I know, Vince. I know. I'm over you, Vince. I'm over you.
Apparently, Jason, you don't understand the concept of markers. and
no, I do. They're designed to permanently mark things, even though they say temporary. But yeah, this is I didn't use any of the clips for this. It's just built in this tray, right? Wow. And then I built it on top of this to prevent them from moving too much.
That's
awesome. Then, and that way, if you need to, you can move the whole map and you can switch it around so people can see it better.
Very
right?
cool.
So, and then I've got small versions of that one built for like a room. So if it's just a room playing out, we can use a room.
See,
otherwise,
you know what
I
occurs
switched to Tailspire.
Like we may or may not be really hard on ourselves when it comes to maps. Like you just said, this is what I have, and this is all.
Oh, I'm way too hard on myself. I agree.
What you just showed.
I love the sound of Barry Bot's oohs and ahs and oohs and ahs.
That's what I'm saying. Is from a player standpoint, that map is beautiful. If I was playing at the table, that would be fucking awesome.
But
I would have been stoked.
The gloss goes away very quickly if you do it every single time, and I think the oohs and ahs eventually kind of diminish because they're like, oh yeah, it's another map, it's another map, it's another map, it's another map, it's another map.
That's fair.
And then sometimes I think my writing could get lazy, and I'll be like, oh yeah, you see exactly what you see on the map. Go ahead and roll perception. I don't necessarily want to create a crutch either, right?
Yeah.
So if I go 3 or 4 sessions without a map, and then suddenly one comes out, it's like, whoa, a map is here. It's cool. Let's focus. Let's do it. And then let's say I go 3 more sessions without a map, and then another brand new one comes out in a different design and pattern. It's like, oh, yeah. All right. Otherwise it's like every day.
And that's the thing. You should create that mystery in between. And I think that's good to just have that break, because then like when that next map comes around, they have like a vision in their head, like, oh, this is what I think it looks like. Oh, wait, that's actually way better.
And why I love that definition of what Sharon said, I also go back to what Brian stated. I've watched a lot of people play with Roll20 and their map is up, and they make a chronic mistake the whole time that I just made with Discord. They're constantly fixing and fiddling, and they break the continuity because they're over obsessed with their map. And then it becomes kind of a potential problem. And the table's like, oh fuck, is it going to be like this every time he pulls out a map? This This is kind of
You know,
painful.
getting back to Sharon's question of do you think one is better than the other? To me, one of the reasons I haven't delved into it is the digital online mapping. I can't speak to it directly because I haven't used it, but it seems to me that is the biggest pitfall of any of those tools is too much fiddling in between.
You get obsessed with it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, into the details. Yeah. And there are a lot of good,
It's almost like
well detailed online map software, especially for
I mean,
battle maps and just like regional maps in general, like Agazar's fantasy map generator. Holy cow! And it's free, you guys. It's a world map that you can create.
Donations are appreciated. They do, I believe they do all their donations through Ko-Fi.
Yeah. But it is amazing. It's a great user interface. You could edit cultural, topography, and religious foundations in the world. You could breathe life into your map, which is so cool. I mean, and that's the same thing with battle maps. Battle maps, it's about, you know, the action that's involved with the players. Hello?
How do you feel about modern life?
no, I'm pulling up. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I love the. Let me do some production work here, really quick. I love the. So the thing that I think Sharon brings across about this mapping system is not only is it fully integrated into a city system and a world system, it creates lore for you. So you can click on the details of the city or the region, and it might say this is a major theocracy run by so-and-so. And then you click on the capital, and the capital has lore and names of different parts of the city and what you can find in the city. And it's a completely random generator. It's crazy.
Okay, so
there's a lot of times I'll pick this up, and if I just looking to get over a roadblock on some particular lore, I just use it to kind of help me with it, and I pick a piece of it and pull it out, and then I build out this really kind of interesting perspective on it. Well, here, let me share Tailspire with everyone at least.
Oh, Tailspire is awesome, and my only introduction to that was in your games. But that's very cool.
Actually, I don't need to share it. I can just change my camera view.
I'm actually surprised I didn't include that in my list. I'm sorry.
Well, I think I think any challenge you get with the idea of Tailspire is it could look like it could require a lot of work to get it done, but in reality, it's such an easy tool to learn, and you can and the fact that you can move pieces immediately.
Awesome.
Well,
I think the coolest feature is the integration with Hero Forge, so you can design your mini.
I can show you a couple of those. Let me bring that up. So here are some of the custom here. Like I built a custom black dragon for one of my games. So I have this custom black dragon figure that I can, I use it as a young dragon model, but then of course you can also create, where is it? This one's really cool. So I created a cloud giant off of Hero Forge,
cool.
Which can still look like a normal person, but you can go into the tools and set the size.
Wow.
And now you have.
So that is pretty quick.
That's awesome.
I mean, and the other thing too is you can do reveals. So if you want the folks to be able to, see the interior space, and you want to give them the two-dimensional experience, you can still do the two-dimensional experience based on how you manage your camera, right? Or
I need to.
Or if you really want to give them that street level experience of what it looks like to stand next to a cloud giant, you can literally bring the camera all the way in, and that's what it looks like, right? So, and
I
you
know
can also
I was
control that viewpoint.
Jesus.
So
I was tasked with learning Tailspire by you and Adam, and I didn't, but I think I'm gonna have to because that's fucking
You
cool
have
shit.
to.
The
That's
interesting
so cool.
thing is, though, that only works.
sounds
with
like
remote
plagiarism with extra steps. Vince,
Yeah.
you're such a nub.
The only thing is that only translates to remote play.
Yes,
You
it
can't
only
use
does
that
translate to
table.
remote play.
Which is
I think the only
interesting,
time
so-
it could translate to tabletop play is the 2-down view projected to a TV in the middle of the
Right.
table. Like you could
Yeah.
use it as an ad hoc method of a lot of the VTT maps that are being
Yes.
used as, imagery display. But I still don't think it
Exactly, yeah.
matches the immersion of 3D effects. I think 3D effects
No,
and
I
3D
agree.
live terrain is still always going to be the one you strive for, but I don't
Yeah.
recommend going to poverty to do it.
Right. So you're more in like the online maps realm in the sense.
Well,
you more
only
in
because all my
favor of
games
that?
are on. Well, only because most of my games are online.
Mhm.
I prefer the 3D. I prefer the terrain maps, like the terrain models. I much prefer
Yeah.
the terrain models.
Likewise.
And because I think that allows the players to focus. They get the feeling that it's an important situation. They get to tactily like move their mini and connect the mechanics of their character to the physical action that they're doing.
Yeah.
And it creates a sense of importance. But I want to preserve and protect that sense of importance by not overusing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah, which is why theater of the mind and having these maps in hand is very important.
Boom. I just spent my kids' college tuition on
Dwarven
3D
Forge?
terrain on Dwarven
on a
Forge.
single hallway in Dwarven Forge, $5,000
that I'll use once.
Yeah,
It's funny though. I
Yeah.
told you the way I buy Dwarven Forge is the most basic pieces I can get because I don't want Lord Fashtun's prison altar room that I'm going to use one
And-
time.
don't limit your choices to what maybe models were originally built for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think this was more of a Warhammer design at some point.
Oh yeah. I mean anything.
But it still can be used as like a temple ruin within the idea. So this strategically placed with a tree and a boulder can be reused time and time and time and time again as
Yep.
part of like, just some kind of general landscape that you're trying to allow your players to envision.
Well,
Have a pre-built campsite ready to go because there's always a campsite needed. There's always a campsite battle that's probably going to happen. You can have one of
and
those
that brings up
ready to
that
go.
brings up another interesting fact is crafting stuff.
Oh yeah,
especially
green
like-
stuff.
Especially
yeah.
like Green Stuff World. If you haven't checked out this site,
Everyone?
do so because I mean they have everything
Oh.
that you need, but they've got a lot. They've got all kinds of molds for
Woo.
scenery.
Well, then now you're really going down a rabbit hole of 3D printers.
Well, no, I'm saying avoid 3D printers. I'm talking about using
No,
foam.
what I'm saying
and-
is the breadth of choices right now.
Oh,
since
yeah.
you have, there's so many ways you can make it your own. Especially with sites like this, or even 3D printers, if that's something that you might be attracted to. I think the only thing that I don't do, and I hate to do, is I don't like to paint minis. I don't like
Yeah.
Brian's minis look gorgeous. I couldn't do that if you put a gun to my head. I literally hate painting minis, and I don't find it cathartic in any way.
Well, and that's why
Really?
I said I'm even getting to the point where unless it's like a big bad boss or my players minis, that's why I'm so looking forward to the skinny minis because I mean I don't have that much time to paint either, and it's funny because I mean this is one of my coolest sculpts that I have found is this druid that I got off of Etsy. I don't know how well you can see it.
That's so
And
cool.
it's one of my favorite paint jobs. I have broken this fucking mini about 8 times by dropping my DM screen on it or books or shit. So that's another thing is you paint up all these minis and it's like they just get the shit kicked out of them, So,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Don't know
but
where they went.
But Green
I wanted to
Stuff
show
World-
everyone what a skinny mini looked like. I had a small stack of them here somewhere. I don't know where I put them.
Man, I gotta
punch
say,
them out
though-
yet. Because, there I'm an idiot. I put them behind me because I was going to use them today.
Like for you guys, like this, the world is literally your oyster. You have so many different choices to create your battle maps, and
they come in plastic punch outs like this, and then you can use them. And the artwork is good. I do like these as a solution to an affordable way to get some minis on your table.
Not only that, but they store flat.
Yeah. They can store flat, which means
once
you can take hundreds of them and store them like just a little brick like this, and you're good to go. Yeah. Oh, you are never gonna let me get that. Oh, you know what,
Vince? I would, but you're closer to him than I am. We're 1,500 miles away. Yeah, that's another thing is, I mean, once you get, a few hundred minis, it's like, then that's another cabinet or series of shelves you need to store that junk.
But this is another one. Dungeon Craft.
Tiarga Neogada.
Yeah, 1985 Games presents Dungeon Craft.
You need to flip your camera around.
I know. But they basically give you these cutouts that you can do where they just...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
These little card cutouts, which are, from time to time, I break things out like that. And what's really fun is I came across this really fun piece of archive, sticking with maps, which is the Forgotten Realms city system.
Oh, my God, I have that.
And this is from the AD&D days, and this is how... we used to do world maps, these big paper.
I still use that. The
Waterdeep one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these big paper maps that we used to just kind of, throw out on the table, and that's what we used. I think this box has been used once. Everything's like the books in here don't even have any wrinkles, like they were open.
Oh my God. Mine is beat to shit because I've used the hell out of it. Hey, Paradox.
And then, of course, Ruins of the Undermountain.
Yep.
I've got I now have 20 box sets of Forgotten Realms.
Man,
I've been gradually rebuilding my collection. Hey, Paradox.
I so love how creative people can be with this stuff. It's so cool.
You can literally look at just household items around your house.
Oh, yeah.
And pull it off.
Yeah.
Styrofoam cups become a hut. You can get the you can get a sponge and spray paint it like brown, and it's a hill. You can get you can take cotton balls and use cotton balls as smoke on the battlefield.
One of my players who's a druid wild shaped into a giant gorilla, and then the mage in the group enlarged him, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to use now for a mini? So I just grabbed the closest. I have that one, but it was twice as big, so I just grabbed a Funko Pop that I had. I'm like, well, that's you now.
Yeah, that's you. To at least get the size reference. Yeah,
exactly. Again, I think it's interesting because I think as as DMs, we over analyze sometimes, and it's like, oh, is this all? How does this look? Blah blah blah. And again, that's all backstage stuff, which can be and I am guilty of this too. But backstage can be messy as shit, and it doesn't matter if on camera or at table is slick and streamlined, and most players will overlook a lot of the little so-called glitches and be ecstatic with the amount of effort these days that DMs put into encounters and maps and whatnot.
Theater of the mind and these maps that you guys put together, they're like brick and mortar. It just works well together. And if you guys feel like that, there isn't enough detail, that's where Theater of the Mind kicks in and just paints the rest, of the encounter for you.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's the affirmation of the player's focus on whatever we use that helps us. It's that it's the oohs and ahs. I'm not gonna lie, the oohs and ahs are nice. They're way more affirming than the idea of a completed campaign, because if you have enough oohs and ahs, the campaign's going to complete itself anyways, along with the occasional lucky roll. But yeah.
And I fully, none of this, in my opinion, none of this replaces theater of the mind. I don't care how advanced and how high of a production value your map is. I still think that there's always opportunity to set the scene. I mean, I even describe what the characters smell. You know, you walk into this inn, or you come down the hill and you see this city in the distance, and you smell baking bread and this and that.
To the senses.
Yeah, exactly. So that will, nothing, in my opinion, in this game will ever fully replace theater of the mind, because that's what the game is about. It has always been about your imagination, and all this stuff is just props, in my opinion. It doesn't ever replace imagination.
Yeah, exactly. That well said.
as I strum my harp. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, me too. And I will be spending the rest of my evening trying to fix whatever Discord broke, because I was just trying a couple things and realized that I literally cannot post images in any of my private stuff.
We're going to get on next episode. Come on, and Jason is going to be sprawled out,
hair out the ear. I mean, if there's any software that doesn't listen to its community, it's definitely Discord. They are a shit product.
No, shots fired. Discord is listening.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Oh, we're in trouble now. Discord's going to come on here.
Hey, Discord, I have 2 thoughts for you.
Oh, damn. Well, there we go. Nice job. We just lost our fucking sponsorship.
Deactivate account.
Hey, Discord, why don't you come on the show and we'll talk it over?
Ugh, such garbage.
All right.
Anyways, thanks everybody for coming out.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like we have exhausted our intelligent discussion content here. So.
Oh, and thank you, Sharon, for the amazing prep list. That was.
Yeah, that was
discovered
awesome.
Some that I didn't even know that were there. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same. I'm going to delve into that.
Get to see that in some of your guys' plays.
Yeah, I'm going to delve into that $1,000 software package for
there you go.
Yeah. But no, Sharon, seriously, that was awesome and very informative. I think this was our most well thought out and informative show yet. So, and that is all you, because Jason and I just generally argue with each other.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy thoroughly. But this was actually
you
informative.
Guys are just wandering in the dark at this point.
Because we had no map.
And on that note, where can they find you, Sharon? Where are you at?
Hey, check me out here at Instagram at Berrybot. There it is, right there. Or you can also check me out on Saturdays at the D&D Club, where we do a live stream D&D game called The Graying Lens. Feel free to check us out, 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Brian, where are you at these days?
I am. Best place to get me is Instagram, RPG and Co. But you can also check out Lawfully Chaotic for the show. Paradox, you wanted to watch some VOD, it's all up there. This will be up there later. But otherwise, best place to get me is Instagram, where you can view my my mini work, my brand work, logos, all that fun jazz. Jason.
And I am
where
at
can we find
TTRPG. I'm at TTRPG Academy. You can find me on my link tree. Just head on over to our Twitch channel. Our Linktree social is there. It has our Instagram, our Twitter space, and all of our digital conversations that are going on. You can also find me over at the D&D Club, where I run my pay-to-play professional DM tables. I officially am up to 8 as of today, so I'm running 8 of my pay-to-play tables and 3 of my private tables currently over on the TTRPG Academy. Brian will be back in the fall. As soon as boating season is over, we'll be back with the Debtor's Gambit in the Feywild and the Shadowfell, as they are going to begin the journey of Brandon's character. That should be very interesting, considering
Ooh.
the
I have to put my teeth back in for that.
yeah, we're going to be dabbling in the world of, or in the land of Monrovia, and evidently Strahd has seduced his father, depending on the background that you follow with his character.
Motherfucker?
You call me mother? You call me motherfucker?
Just come back in September and check it out, and yeah.
But do not visit Jason on Discord, because he will punch you in the throat, because Discord sucks apparently. So.
Well, no, because everybody else can post, but I can't. But that's fine.
All right. Well, as usual,
love you.
Thank you for joining us
safe,
in the chat.
Be kind. Play a game.
And we'll
love
see
you.
you
Good night,
next
everybody.
week. Ciao.
Glitter.